Hello and welcome to another part of this chapter, linear programming problem. We have already learned how to solve a linear programming problem by using simplex method or bgame method. Now in this part we shall discuss about duality theory in linear programming problem. Actually, for linear programming problem, for each problem there exists one dual problem. Actual problem is known as primal problem. So in duality theory, we find dual of a primal problem. Now let us consider one primal problem or a maximization linear programming problem given by this. So it is maximize z equal to this subject to this m constant. Now to find dual of a primal problem, we have to first write the primal problem in standard form. Standard form means if the problem is a maximization problem, then we shall write all the constraint in less equal to form. But if the problem is a minimization type, then we shall write all the constraint in greater equal to form. So for each linear programming problem, we have to first write the primal problem into standard form. So for this problem, since this is a maximization problem, so we have written all the constraint in less equal to type. So this is the primal problem. So you have to find its dual problem. Now remember that whenever we find the dual of this primal problem, then the number of variables in the primal problem will be the number of constraint in the dual problem, and the number of constraint in the primal problem will be the number of variables in the dual problem. Now since the primal problem has n variables and m equations or m inequalities as constraint, so the dual problem will have m variables and n constraint. So let us first write the dual variables. We assume that the dual variables are omega 1, omega 2 up to omega m. Now we write the objective function in dual problem. Now since this is a maximization problem, so primal problem is a maximization type, so the dual problem will be a minimization type. So first we write the objective function of the dual problem. Now it will be minimize. Now minimize, we shall write here z omega. In dual problem, the objective function will be of variables omega 1, omega 2 and omega m, and we shall write the objective function as this will be equal to, now in the dual problem the objective function will be this first value b1 into the first variable, so we write b1 omega 1 plus this b2 into the second variable, so it is b2 omega 2, and continuing in this process the last value bm, and it is multiplied by the last variable omega m. So this will be our objective function in the dual problem. Now subject to, now as I have said that the number of variables in the primal problem will be the number of constraint in the dual problem. So we first write the first constraint. Now this can be found as this first coefficient a11 multiplied by the first variable omega 1 plus this constant a21 multiplied by the second variable omega 2, and continuing in this way the final coefficient am1, so we write here am1 multiplied by the last variable omega m. Now since it is a dual problem and since this is a minimization type, so the constraint will be greater or equal to type, and the value in the right hand side it will be the first cost value, which is c1. So this is the first constraint of the dual of this primal problem. Now let us write the second constraint. Now this can be found as this coefficient, the coefficient in the second column a12, so a12 into the first variable plus this coefficient a22 into second variable omega 2, and continuing in this way, this coefficient am2 multiplied by the last variable omega m, and this will be greater equal to the second cost value, which is c2. And continuing in this way, we find the last constraint, which will be this one, a1n omega 1 plus a2n omega 2, and ultimately amn into omega m. It will be greater or equal to the last cost value, which is cn, where omega 1 omega 2, these variables are non-negative. So this is the required dual of this primal problem. So this is the dual and this is the primal problem. Now here we find that the number of variables in the primal problem, this will be equal to the number of constraint in the dual problem, and the number of constraint in the primal problem, this will be equal to number of variables in the dual problem. And the v vector of the primal problem is converted to the cost vector of the dual problem, and the cost vector of the primal problem is converted to the v vector of the dual problem. Now we can write this primal problem and its dual problem in a systematic way. Now if we assume that this cost vector is c vector and this vector is v vector, and if we assume that this coefficient matrix is denoted by capital A, so now capital A is a m cross n matrix whose elements are a11, a12, a1n, a21, a22, a2n up to am1, am2, amn. So this is a coefficient matrix having m rows and n columns. Then the primal problem can be written as, it is maximization of z, this will be c vector, it is multiplied by the x vector, where x vector is the column vector having this n variables. So x vector will be this column vector x1, x2, xn, and here cost vector is this row vector, this is the cost vector c1, c2, cn, and v vector is again a column vector, so v vector, this will be b1, b2 up to bm. So this is the v vector, and a is the coefficient matrix. So if we write this, then the primal problem can be written as maximization of z equal to c into x, subject to the constraint which can be written as capital A into x, it is less equal to this v vector. So if we use these notations, then the primal problem can be written in this form. If we multiply the matrix A by this vector x, then we shall find all these constraints. Now let us write the dual problem by using these notations. Then we find that the dual problem can be written as minimization of zw, so minimization of z omega. Now this will be equal to b1 omega 1, b2 omega 2 and bm omega m. So if we denote this omega vector by this column vector omega 1, omega 2 up to omega m, then this equation can be written as transpose of b vector, it is multiplied by the omega vector. Now b vector is a column vector, so b transpose is the row vector. So if we multiply b transpose by omega, then we find this expression. So this is the objective function of the dual problem. So it is minimization of z omega equal to b transpose multiplied by omega. Now subject to this can be written as a transpose multiplied by the omega vector, it will be greater or equal to, it is C transpose, where C is the cost vector of the primal problem. So if we write the primal problem in this manner, maximization of Z, that is equal to Cx subject to Ax less equal to B, then the dual problem can be written as Z omega equal to B transpose into omega subjected to A transpose into omega greater or equal to C transpose. Now let us give one example here. Find the dual of the following LPP. So it is given that you have to find the dual of this primal problem. So this is the primal problem, and we know that to find its dual, we have to first write the primal problem in standard form. Standard form means if the problem is a maximization type, then we shall write all the constraint in less equal to form, and if the problem is of a minimization type, then we shall write all the constraint in greater or equal to form. Now here we find that the problem is maximization type and all the constraint are already in less equal to form. So we can easily find its dual. Now there are two methods to find its dual. We can use the matrix or we can find its dual without using the matrix. Now in the first, suppose we are finding the dual of this primal problem by using the matrix. Then we know that the x vector, that will be x1, x2, x3, it is the solution vector, and the cost vector is given as 2, 3, minus 4. The coefficient matrix, it is given as 5, 1, minus 2, 1, and 1, minus 4, and v vector is 4, 7. So that the primal problem can be written as maximization of Z, that is C into X subject to Ax less equal to B. Now we know that if the primal problem is given by this, then we can find its dual problem by minimization of Z omega equal to B transpose omega subjected to A transpose omega, it is greater or equal to C transpose, where omega is the vector denoting the dual variables. Now we know that the number of constraint in the primal problem will be the number of variables in the dual problem. Since this problem has only two constraints, so in the dual problem we have only two variables, which will be omega 1 and omega 2. Now let us find B transpose. Now this is B, so B transpose will be the row vector 4, 7. Now this is A matrix, so A transpose, this matrix will be 5, 1, minus 2, 1, and 1, minus 4. And finally C transpose, this will be the column vector 2, 3, minus 4. Now let us find the dual. Now it will be minimization of Z omega, this will be B transpose into omega. Now this is B transpose, if we multiply this by omega, then it will be 4 omega 1 plus 7 omega 2 subjected to A transpose omega. Now if we multiply A transpose by omega, then the first equation will be 5 omega 1 plus omega 2. So it is 5 omega 1 plus omega 2. It will be greater or equal to the first value of C transpose. Now the C transpose is 2, 3, minus 4. So first value is 2. Now to find the second constraint, we have to multiply the second row of A transpose to omega. So then the second constant will be minus 2 omega. So minus 2 omega 1 plus omega 2, it is greater or equal to the second value of C transpose, which is 3. And the final constant will be this third row multiplied by omega. So it is omega 1 minus 4 omega 2, it is greater or equal to the last value of C transpose, which is minus 4, where omega 1 and omega 2, these are greater or equal to 0. So this is the required dual of this primal problem. Now we can directly find this dual without introducing the matrix form. Now to find the dual of this primal problem, we know that the number of constant of primal will be the number of variables in the dual, and the number of variables in the primal will be the number of constant in the dual. Now since this primal problem has only two constants, so the dual problem will have only two variables, omega 1 and omega 2. So since the primal problem is maximization type, so dual problem will be minimization type. So objective function z omega, this will be 4 into omega 1 plus this 7 into omega 2, and the constant, the first constant will be 5 into omega 1 plus 1 into omega 2. This will be greater or equal to the first cost value 2. Second constant will be minus 2 into omega 1 plus 1 into omega 2. It will be greater or equal to the second cost value, which is 3. And the last one, the third constant, will be 1 into omega 1 minus 4 into omega 2. It is greater or equal to the third cost value, which is minus 4. So this is the required dual of this primal problem. Now the question is, why should we use duality theory? What is the usefulness of this duality theory? Now it has been found that if a linear programming problem contains no artificial variable, then we can solve this problem by usual simplest method. But if a linear programming problem contains artificial variables, then we have to solve this problem by using either big M method or two-phase method. So it is easy to solve the LPP by using usual simplest method rather than big M method or two-phase method. So if a problem is given where the constraints are greater or equal to type, and by using duality theory, if we can convert this problem to a problem having only less equal to type of constraint, then we do not need to add any artificial variables. That means we do not need to use big M method or two-phase method. So that is the usefulness of duality theory. Now if a primal problem is given where the constants are greater or equal to type, then if we apply this duality theory, then we can convert the primal problem to a dual problem which has only less equal to type of constraint. So the dual problem can be solved by usual simplest method without adding any artificial variables. Now the question is, if we find a solution of the dual problem, then can we find the solution of the primal problem? So there are three important deductions from where we can easily find the solution of the primal problem or solution of the dual problem if the other solution is known. That means if we know the solution of the primal problem, then we can easily find solution of the dual problem, and conversely, if the solution of the dual problem is known, then we can easily find solution of the primal problem. Now these three deductions are: the first one, if primal or dual problem has finite optimal solution, then the other must have finite optimal solution. Now in the next part we shall prove one theorem, that is dual of the dual is the primal itself. That means if we find dual of a primal problem and again we take dual of the dual problem, then we will get back the primal problem. So dual of the dual will be again the primal problem. That means if one of primal or dual problem has finite optimal solution, then the other must have finite optimal solution. This is the first deduction. The second deduction is, if one problem has unbounded solution, then the other must have no feasible solution. So we find that if the dual problem has unbounded solution, then the primal problem will have no feasible solution. Or conversely, if we find that the primal problem has unbounded solution, then the dual problem must have no feasible solution. And the third point is, If the primal or the dual problem has no feasible solution, then the other problem must have either no feasible solution or unbounded solution. So if we find that if the primal problem has no feasible solution, then the dual problem must have either no feasible solution or unbounded solution. Conversely, if we find that the dual problem has no feasible solution, then the primal problem will have either no feasible solution or unbounded solution. Now let us consider this example. Solve the following LPP. It is a minimization problem having two constraints which are all of greater or equal to type. So if we want to solve this problem by using simplest method, then we have to add surplus variables. That means we have to add artificial variables. So this problem cannot be solved by using usual simplest method. So this problem can be solved by either big M method or two-phase method. But if we use duality theory in this problem, then we can find that if we convert this problem to a dual problem, then the dual problem can be solved by using usual simplest method. Let us find it. So first we find the dual of this problem. So let us introduce two dual variables omega 1 and omega 2. The number of constraints in the primal will be the number of variables in the dual. So it has two constraints. So the dual problem will have two variables omega 1 and omega 2. So we find the dual. It is a minimization problem. So dual will have maximization problem. So maximize z omega. This will be 12 omega 1 plus 48 omega 2 subjected to 1 into omega 1 plus 5 into omega 2. It is less equal to the first cost value 1, and the second constant will be 2 omega 1 plus 6 omega 2. It is less equal to again 1, the second cost value, where omega 1 and omega 2 are greater or equal to 0. Now here we find that this is the problem of maximization and both the constraints are less equal to type. So if we simply add slack variables, then we can easily find the unit basis vectors. So this problem can be solved by using usual simplest method. To solve the problem, we have already introduced two slack variables omega 3 and omega 4. So these two are slack variables. So this problem can be written in this form. Now we can easily solve this problem by using usual simplest method. I have already described how to solve this problem by using usual simplest method. So if we solve this problem, then we find that this is the required simplex table, and from the table this is the final optimal stage. We have already found that all the values of zj minus cj are non-negative. So the optimality condition is satisfied. If we write the solution of the dual problem, then we find that minimum z omega, this is equal to this value 8 at a3 equal to 1 by 6. That means omega 3 equal to 1 by 6 and a2 equal to 1 by 6. So omega 2 equal to 1 by 6. So here we find that the dual variable a1 is not present at the final basis. So the solution of the dual problem will be mean z omega equal to 8 at omega 1 equal to 0 and omega 2 equal to 1 by 6. But we need to find solution of the primal problem. Actually, the solution of the primal problem can also be found from this table. Now since the dual problem has finite optimal solution, so the primal problem will have finite optimal solution. So max z, this will be the same value as we have obtained for the dual problem. So max z equal to the same value 8, which is the final optimal solution of the dual problem. Now we have to find the value of x1 and x2. So we have obtained that the value of the objective function for the primal problem is max z equal to 8. Now we have to find the value of x1 and the value of x2. Now these can be found from this table. To find the value of x1, we have to find the slack variable which we have introduced for the first constraint of the dual problem. Now in the first constraint we have introduced omega 3 as the slack variable. So the value of x1 can be found from the zj minus cj value corresponding to this omega 3. So if we find the final optimal table, then we find that the corresponding value of zj minus cj of omega 3, that is of a3, it is 0. So value of x1 is 0. Next, to find the value of x2, we have to find the second constraint, and the slack variable which we have introduced in this second constraint is omega 4. So the value of x2 can be found from the zj minus cj value of omega 4 or a4 in the final optimal table. So in the final optimal table we find that zj minus cj value of a4, that is of omega 4, is 8. So the value of x2 will be 8. So remember that to find the value of the first variable of the primal problem, we have to find the slack variable which we have introduced for the first constraint in the dual problem, and the corresponding zj minus cj value will be the value of x1. And to find the value of the second variable x2, we have to find the slack variable which we have introduced for the second constraint in the dual problem, and the corresponding zj minus cj value will be the value of the second variable x2. So thus, if we know the solution of the dual problem, then we can easily find the solution of the primal problem. And conversely, if the solution of the primal problem is known, then we can easily find the solution of the dual problem. So with this, we complete this part. So see you in the next part of this chapter. Until then, thanks for watching.